In this video, I want to show you how Canadian neighborhoods looks like. What you can expect if you rent or buy a house. There's gonna be probably school around. It's gonna be a park or a few parks. You will have your driveway. You will have your backyard. There could be different type of houses like semi-detached houses, detached houses, or townhouses. This is typical older neighborhood. Is in a small town. And these houses, they like more expensive, not the average, not the regular houses, because you can see most of them will have 3-car garage or 2-car garages. They pretty big size, and the neighborhood, the lots are pretty generous as well. There's gonna be sidewalks, there are gonna be driveways, and longer, shorter driveways, different kinds. And there's a park in front of me, as you can see. It's closed now because of quarantine that we have now. But you still can see there's a park, there's a playground for kids, soccer field, and all sorts of things. And in this particular town, there's a park with the pond on the right side. You can see, you can take a look at this, and there's a walk trails. It's almost like you live near the forest. And the houses that back in on the forest or ravine or any sort of empty space, they usually more expensive than if you buying. They're usually more expensive than the houses they back to each other or back to other property backyard. And this line is a little bit newer, not too much, but a little bit newer than the one that we were passing before. See, usually you don't see that much cars on the driveways because especially now in the middle of the day, because people go to work. But since we at the quarantine now, like almost everyone at home now, and the cars and the full driveways are full with cars. Do you see those blue bins and green bins? It means that today, as we call it, garbage day, when the trucks are coming to pick up your garbage, your recycle or your waste, you just put it in the morning or overnight. You put it on a car, like you can see in front of me, people still waiting for a truck to come to pick up their waste, and you just leave it, and trucks are passing by. They picking up different kind of litter, different kind of trash, garbage, whatever you have. And here on the right side you see as well like a ravine plus some like kind of small river, which is incredible. So you live like in the small pocket, small community, and on each side you will have your like a piece of forest and piece of nature, which is amazing. Here in this neighborhood you can see mostly detached houses, and they pretty big mostly here. They some of them are older and bigger, and lots are even larger than regular ones. Usually you have school nearby, and by the way, these houses that you see on the left side now, like across the street, this that would be like really older houses. Sometimes they call them like century houses, which means they could be like easily 100 years old or even more. This is how school looks like, which your kids will be going to the school if you live in the neighborhood that we were just driving by. It's pretty new school, not that old, not the newest, but still like kind of in the middle, not very old. Closer. This is a parking for a school. Usually parents is just driving by and just dropping off their kids at the school and the entrance. If you take a look ahead of me, you will see the development of the new neighborhood. That's how construction looks like, and they just place in the ground, they making all the communications for like water and hydro and everything that you would need for new development, for new neighborhood. This is typical countryside road. By the way, you can see in front of me there's garbage trucks. They coming. I think they picked up some garbage already, so they go into the waste plant somewhere. Yes, but this is typical countryside road in Canada. You see two lines for each direction. Yellow line it means that is divider between the opposite traffics. During the winter, these roads are being taken care of, despite the fact that they like far from the city. There's still trucks coming, they plow in the snow, they clean the roads, they put in salt on the road for snow and ice to melt down. So technically it's pretty good to to drive even in the winter time. And this is we entering the small town. This is the main street of the small town here in Canada. This is how it looks, and I'm gonna drive by some neighborhoods, older and newer, so you will see the difference between them, and you will see different type of houses. Here you can see some pretty old houses. Some of them, like I was saying before, century houses, which is like could be 100 years old or so. Some of them might be a little bit newer, but this is pretty old part of the town here. And I'm gonna drive to the newer part here now. Here you can see bungalows. That's a one-story houses, usually with the basement, and they called bungalows. Sometimes it could be walkout basement, sometimes it could be a regular basement. Those bungalows like about 40 to 60 years old, and this is a newer part of the town here. This is a new subdivision, new roads, new houses here. Here you can see detached houses. They are pretty good sizes, and they kind of expensive for this part, but not too expensive still. It's really affordable, and if you compare to the houses in the city, in the Toronto, let's say, they are really cheap compared to the size and quality, compared to what you can see in Toronto. People usually really friendly here. They you see a lot of people walking, a lot of people still at home, a lot of people here, and you can say hi to them. Usually you can talk to them, you can say hi to them. Now because of quarantine you wouldn't talk much to the people on the street because you have to keep your distance. Yeah, this is again same newer part, same newer neighborhood. It's really nice houses here. You can see grass is here already. I think this neighborhood is like maybe 5 years old or so, so relatively new. Some houses are for sale here. We can check later how much the houses here are, approximate price for them. And in front of me you can see, and on the left, detached houses, and here's they call linked houses that they not semi-detached, but they kind of linked to each other. Now on the left, these houses they call semi-detached because they have the same wall between them, but another wall is not attached to any other house, so this called semi-detached house. If all them would be stuck together, like with the same wall stuck to each other, they would be calling townhouses. If you didn't come here to Canada yet, if you just looking still for rent or to buy a place, those things you have to understand, because there's a big difference between townhouse and semi-detached house and detached house. It's like a different type of houses. That's how usually any town, any city is structured in Canada. They have a downtown, which could be small, bigger, but the structure will be the same. There's gonna be a downtown and neighborhoods, and then there's gonna be plazas, like a business plaza where you will find lots of stores, few like smaller, bigger grocery store, like any other like pet store or any other stores that you may need, banks and all of it. So I hope this video was helpful for you to understand a little bit more about how houses look like in Canada. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to make another video, maybe more detailed. Please subscribe to our channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit notification bell and you will be receiving the notifications about our new videos. Thank you. Bye now.